Good morning. It is 4:45 a.m., which I think is a perfect time to be making an SEO update, but you'll have to forgive the bedhead. So there's a reason for this. There was a Google Core algorithm update, as many of you know, that started rolling out December 3rd. And we waited several days to send out a survey to you guys to let things settle a little bit in the SERP, see what things are actually happening on the traffic. And now, yesterday we spent a ton of time just pouring through the data. Ricky is, as you guys know, math genius, and he did his wizardry on this to get us some really cool numbers. And I didn't want to wait any longer to get this update to you guys because we wanted to have accurate information, so we had to wait a little bit, but we want it out to you as soon as possible. This update, of those that said, I have an affected site, in our survey of 242 independent bloggers. Now, I have to say, if you see any data here that's very different than what you're seeing on many of the large SEO blogs and stuff, it's because our entire survey is independent bloggers and publishers. We don't do e-commerce sites. We don't do local medical practices and stuff like that. And so this is just about independent bloggers. So if you said your site was affected, 50.21% said your site went up, 49.78% said your site went down. And so not statistically significant. Basically, it was 50-50 of you guys, how many of your sites went up and went down from this update, which is really encouraging early numbers to me because we don't want to see traffic going away from us independent publishers. Then my next question is, how much traffic did Google steal? Because on many of the updates over the last several years, it's been about relevancy and reducing spam, and actually they're just rolling out more SERP features that are taking traffic away from publishers and exercising their monopolistic power. Quick update, I had to switch to the other side of this. Before we continue on with the video, I forgot to mention in the original recording, we're doing the Ultimate Content Warrior Challenge. It starts January 1st. It is going to be awesome. We have a WWF style championship belt that goes to the winner, plus a 55-gallon drum of Thai curry. No idea how we're going to ship that to the winner, but we're going to find a way. We have $5,000 in cash going to the winner of this contest. So what it is it's a contest for content creators. It's a series of challenges all through the month of January. It doesn't matter if your site's brand new or established, you can do it. In fact, you can use articles you've written in the past to submit for your query and just polish them up. What it's going to do is we're going to give you a particular challenge twice a week during January, and we're going to teach you some specific things to really improve your skills as a content creator. And then us at Income School, we're going to individually rate each article or each about page or a blog design, whatever the challenge is for that day. And you're going to get a score from us on a rubric so that you can see how you're doing and learn from what to focus on your website. And then we're going to be publishing a worldwide leaderboard of who the winners are each day and the overall score. At the end of January, we take the top 64 creators, top ranked in the world, and those people are going to compete it out bracket style until we get to the one ultimate content warrior who wins all the cool prizes. It'll be really fun, but mostly it's about learning. It's about you becoming a better content creator. So whether your site's new or established, whether you're a Project 24 member or not, this is about the world and finding our world's best content creator. You can't participate though if you don't sign up because we don't want to annoy everybody sending you the challenges. And so you have to go to incomeschool.com/UCW, Ultimate Content Warrior, incomeschool.com/UCW. That's where you can sign up. It's totally free and it's going to be awesome. So I went to Mozcast, which does a great job tracking this, and there really was no incidence of more SERP features or fewer SERP features or even changed SERP features when this algorithm update was released. So this is probably not one where Google is taking traffic. So now we want to dig a little deeper and see what exactly happened. This is where the story starts to take a little bit of a turn for us. Let's look at small websites, medium sites, and large sites. On the small sites, it's again about 50-50, not statistically significant. If you experienced a change, what percentage said they went up versus down. Now let's look at the medium sites. These are between 3 and 45,000 page views a month. 23% went up, 31% went down, right? So if you experienced down, it was a significant shift down, and if you experienced up, it was a significant shift up in terms of page views. Now, large websites. Now, these are sites all over 45,000 page views per month, and so if you said your traffic went up, your traffic changed 20.83% up on average. That's a lot. But unfortunately, if you went down, 36.35% is the amount that your site went down. Ouch. That's a big, big change if you own a large website. That is not what we want to see. And so the story has gotten a lot thicker now, that at first we said, yeah, 50% up, 50% down. In general, bloggers, we didn't lose traffic. But now, given the fact that these sites are large and they consequently have more traffic than the small ones, overall, we as independent bloggers and publishers, we lost traffic on this update. That's not good, and we've got to investigate why. Trust me, we're getting there. I would not neglect that question. So some went up, some went down, but overall, you average them out, negative 17.2%. Here you can see the numbers. On average, our sites in that cohort of over 45,000 page views, they averaged 275,000 page views before, 228 after, net change of negative 47,464 page views on average for that group. That's a significant change. That may be $1,500, maybe $2,000 per month lost on those sites. Those are you guys. They're people who have families trying to provide for their families, and there was a negative change. On average, again, some went up, and maybe one of our sites went up. I'm really excited to show you guys that. Went up a lot. But we're going to talk about that. All right, so we were also always curious if there's anything we're teaching that's bad. Anytime there's a Google algorithm update, if we see a Project 24 was more affected than other bloggers, because we have a very specific way that we're making websites, if we see that, we say, whoa, we gotta reverse course here and figure out what we did wrong here. So we surveyed Project 24 members. We also surveyed the YouTube audience at large, and there was no difference. It's 50-50 exactly. I mean, exactly of those Project 24 members filling out the survey. And of the YouTube audience, it was 50.7 up, 49.27 down. So not statistically significant. There was no impact there. So now, what did Google change? That's what we all want to know. So let's go get a little bit more data, see if we can start drawing some conclusions. We look at SEMrush Sensor, and as I really look through that, I just don't see a particular category that was hit more than others. I looked through quite a few of the news articles on this, several of them saying, oh, it impacted finance and medical sites more. I'm not convinced that that's true for independent bloggers and publishers. I don't see that data bearing out, not within the realm of just normal variance. And as we looked through individual sites and niches here that you guys were cool enough to show to us so that we could get some of that information, I just don't see any particular sector that was hit. And so now we say, so what do I change if I went down, and what did I do that was so good if I went up? As we look through individual sites, this is where it really becomes difficult to start drawing conclusions, and here's why. On many Google updates, they'll even just tell us what changed, or as we start looking through data, it becomes pretty obvious what changed, like the so-called medic update that Google didn't like that we called the medic update, but it was a medic update, Google. And as we looked through that data, it was pretty obvious what had happened. It was YMYL categorizing of those niches. And so I think there's something in Google's core update guidance that's kind of every time they do a core update, they just say, follow this. And so as you go and read that post, there is one line in there that I think directly is impacted by the things that we saw on sites that were changed. They ask a bunch of questions just saying like, go change these things on your website, right? And here it is. Is the content mass-produced by or outsourced to a large number of creators or spread across a large network of sites so that individual pages or sites don't get as much attention or care? Now we look at that data and we say, it wasn't the small bloggers that got hit. It wasn't the medium bloggers that really saw much of a change at all. It was the big ones. And then you look at that question and you say, okay, yeah. As a site gets larger and larger, it's more common for an independent creator to start outsourcing at large, right? And when you start outsourcing at large, you become very busy as the content creator and you're getting checks, and so you stop putting life into your site. You are just kind of taking stuff and publishing it under a million different authors on your site. Remember, we saw a cool case study from Outdoor Troop where we had many different authors on WordPress and we compressed them that Jeff did, and huge change, right? So very interesting that they specifically are calling out the number of creators. Now, why would they say that? Because the New York Times has a lot of creators on the website, right? And if traffic is going away from us independent publishers here and going to larger organizations, which we presume, I mean, it had to go somewhere, then we say, why? I think it's because there is life behind those websites, just like there's life behind a small website that's usually written by the individual creator and a medium website. But as that site gets larger, we stop really editing it. We stop putting as much into the content because we're like, we rank for everything. Just chuck it out there, right? And so if I had to boil this down to one conclusion, and my estimation is we've looked through hundreds of websites now, it's this. If you want to grow a large website, you can do it just like before. I mean, we saw a huge percentage of people that their traffic went up even with large websites here, right? I think the core difference is there was something that Google was measuring that said that site doesn't have life behind it. It's not getting edited. So it has stylistic issues. It has spelling issues. There's no social media here giving this no link mentions. There's no floods of traffic moving over to this website that we did a really neat case study on. And I think proved some things there that conflict with what Google has told us. I really think this is about life behind the content so that it is more reliable. And so that's something that we're really focused on. A year and a half, we were mass producing the sites, doing exactly what Google didn't want us to do. Now we're still doing that. We're moving up to like 40 writers at our writing center. We're not going to stop creating content at large scale. What we are changing is life behind each property we build. That's why we're building some sites and just selling them, because we can't handle all of them. We're keeping our portfolio, slowly building it. Right now, the sites that we're building and keeping long-term are Backfire, we're slowly building and having content made on, and Cook for Folks that we're building. Anna's making the YouTube channel for. She's adding her own recipes in there. We're editing each article very carefully. We're building 2 sites and putting life behind each one of them. And then we're also building many other starter sites that you guys can buy to really fast forward yourself. If you buy one of those, what do? Put life behind it to make sure that you can continue that site to grow and to do well on Google's algorithms. Now, I promised one of our sites grew significantly in this update. You want to see? It's cool. I love this. Dead. kaboom, right? The site absolutely skyrockets with this update. This is fishtanksetups.com. This is that site that I paid too much money for, remember? But I said would be a neat SEO case study. I wish I were a super genius and I knew this was gonna happen, but I got lucky on that one, right? But we're going to show you in the next video on Tuesday, we're going to talk about exactly how we're revamping a website that was hit by an update or just has old content, the exact changes we're making to get those sites to pop up. So check out that video on Tuesday. Now, I know many of you lost traffic on this. I'm sorry that happened, and you want specific guidance on what to do. Look for Tuesday. We're going to show you exactly what we would do. And this is a promising story because this site was killed in the May update and now has shot back up in the December update. So there's light at the end of the tunnel. Let's get through this as creators. Thanks everybody for sending your survey information. It just makes us better as a community where we can compare Project 24 sites, YouTube sites, and try to make some conclusions as to what happened.